You know all those fears you had when you were a kid? The ones that adults always told you were, just figments of your imagination? Well, what if I told you that science has been quietly proving that a lot of those primal fears weren't just valid? They were based on some truly terrifying realities.
Come on, think back for a second. That weird feeling that one specific crow, yeah, that one, had it out for you? Or the deep, unsettling vibe you got from a clown's smile? And what about that gut-wrenching feeling that you were being watched, even when you were totally, completely alone? We've all been there. It's just part of growing up, right?
Well, you might want to sit down for this, because it turns out your paranoid little kid brain was actually onto something. Yeah? From neurology to biology, the evidence is piling up. Your childhood instincts, they were often picking up on very real, very scientifically backed threats.
So, let's start with the things that seem to watch us from the outside world, the things that judged us with this unnerving focus.
Okay, so that crow fear, it's not just a feeling. A wild study at the University of Washington basically confirmed it. Researchers wore these specific masks while they were handling crows, and the birds didn't just remember the faces on the masks, they held a grudge. For years, they would dive bomb and scream at anyone wearing that danger mask. But here's where it gets absolutely chilling. They taught other crows to hate the mask. Their friends, their mates, even their kids learned to attack that face on sight without ever being threatened by it themselves. So yeah, if you've ever wronged a crow, its entire family tree might just have your face on a wanted poster.
And what about clowns? That deep, creepy feeling you get? That isn't irrational. It's a hardwired survival instinct. See, our brains are literally built to read faces to figure out what someone's about to do. But a clown's face, it just breaks the whole system. The painted-on smile never, ever changes, even if their eyes look happy or furious. Your brain can't process that contradiction. It has no idea what they'll do next, so it just defaults to assuming the absolute worst. That's the uncanny valley. It's your brain's stranger danger alarm just screaming at you that something hiding behind a fixed mask of joy is fundamentally wrong and not to be trusted.
But the threat isn't always outside. Sometimes, the most terrifying dangers are the ones growing right inside the walls of the one place you're supposed to be safe.
This quote, it actually comes from a documented case of a family who was absolutely convinced they were living in a haunted house. They were seeing dark figures moving in the corners of their eyes. They thought they were going insane. They even called in paranormal investigators. But the real culprit was something way, way more insidious.
Turns out, their house was infested with toxic black mold. See, this fungus, it releases these microscopic neurotoxins, they're called mycotoxins, that you can just breathe in without ever knowing it. These things are so small they can actually cross into your brain and start causing some serious neurological damage, including, you guessed it, vivid hallucinations. This is how a haunting becomes real. The house wasn't possessed by a ghost, the family was being slowly poisoned by a living thing, making them see their own worst fears come to life.
Now this next one happens right in your own bed. You know the feeling, right? You're just drifting off to sleep, and then, bam! Your whole body jerks violently, like you just fell off a building. That's a hypnic jerk, and it's basically your brain glitching out. As your muscles relax for sleep, your ancient primitive brain, the part that still remembers our ancestors sleeping up in trees, panics. It misinterprets that relaxation as you literally falling, so it hits the big red emergency button, flooding your body with chemicals to jolt you awake and save you.
And if this has happened to you, you are so not alone. Something like 70% of us experience this bizarre little brain glitch. It's a perfect example of ancient survival software running on modern hardware and just getting it completely, totally wrong. Okay, so we've talked about threats outside and threats inside your home. Now let's get even more personal. Because what if the monster wasn't under your bed, but under your skin? I want you to meet the human botfly. This thing has a reproductive strategy that is so horrifyingly brilliant, it's literally the stuff of nightmares. The female botfly doesn't lay her eggs on you. No, that's too simple. Instead, she performs a tiny aerial hijacking, catching a mosquito mid-flight and gluing her eggs to it. Then she lets it go. The mosquito, now an unwitting delivery drone, flies off and bites a person. Your body heat instantly hatches the eggs, and these brand new larvae drop off and burrow right into your skin, often using the mosquito bite as a convenient little front door. Oh, and it doesn't just end there. For the next 8 weeks, that larva lives and grows inside you, feeding on your tissue. People have actually been infested say they can feel it squirming around under their skin. All right, let's wrap this up with the most common, the most persistent childhood fear of them all, that primal, skin-crawling feeling that someone, somewhere, is watching you. Just take a second. That little tingle on the back of your neck, that sudden nagging urge to just look over your shoulder. You've probably dismissed it as paranoia your entire life, but what if it isn't?
Scientists have actually confirmed that we humans have a dedicated neural system for one specific purpose: detecting the gaze of others. This gaze detector is hardwired into your amygdala, which is the most ancient part of our brain, the part responsible for that fight-or-flight response. And get this, it's so sensitive it even works in your peripheral vision. That's why you can feel someone staring even when you're not looking right at them. It's a subconscious security system that is always on.
So the next time you get that feeling, don't just brush it off as your imagination. It's your brain's ancient, battle-tested alarm system, an alarm that's been honed over millions of years of avoiding predators. It's not telling you that you're crazy, it's telling you to turn around. It's telling you to pay attention.